Do you ever have one of those mornings where you hear your alarm and you're like, what's that noise? And you can't find it. And you look around and you, oh, it's my alarm. And so you hit snooze and you forgot to hit it or set it for 15 minutes. So it goes off every 5. And you know it's going to be one of those days. So you manage to buy yourself an extra 15 minutes because you know you got to get your ass up and moving. So today was one of those days. It's, well, what's better than that is when your phone rings and you love your ringtone, that you don't want to answer it. So you let it play as long as you can. And if it's not important, if it's not a phone call you have to answer, you're like, huh, I get to listen to my favorite song. So, those are the benefits of having a cell phone, I guess. But anyway, today was just one of those days of, we gotta run here, and then we gotta run there. And there was my therapist. And him and I had a kerfuffle. I ate that from Judge Judy. But yeah, we had a argument.
You've got mail.
I turned that off. It's something every time. It's my email, it's my phone, it's always something, I swear. Anyway, so now the phone is, unless it's somebody important, then it'll come through. It better not. So anyway, yeah, I'm cold and I've got my favorite Cabela sweatshirt on. I love this sweatshirt. I've had it forever. And it is a good day, good night for it because I am getting off track. And that's what I do. But my baby, my male, no, he's not a baby. My male bearded dragon has been sleeping on a cold brick for the last 2 or 3 days, and that's all he's been doing. So I don't know if he's going into brumation or if something's up with him. I am not sure. It's one of those things you have to wait and see. As he hasn't been eating, and I'm concerned, but yet they do weird things. Anyway, so I had tucked him in my jacket. I don't know if you call it a jacket or a hoodie or a sweatshirt or whatever you want to, whatever, you know what I mean. You can see what it is. So I had just put him back now so I could do my video because I plan on making something for supper. I don't know, I'm gonna whip some shit up. But anyway, so the last time, I think it was 2.5 weeks ago, my therapist and I had a falling out. And I know I made a video about it, and I know I mentioned it in other videos. And I don't know if somebody mentioned it or if I figured it out or what the case exactly was. But when I went to see him, I said, we got something we got to straighten out. I said, I'm not good with confrontation, but let's do this. I said, is so-and-so your boss? And he says, well, she's so-and-so, whatever role she has there. Kind of irrelevant. But yet, she didn't talk. Oh, that's right. She didn't talk to him. She talked to his boss, who talked to him. Even better. There was somewhat of an understanding or misunderstanding, but I explained to him that what he said to me was not appropriate and he should have said this instead of what he did. And that just because, whatever. I really am not going to get into details about it, but yeah, I ended up telling him how I felt and what he should. I actually told him what he should have done, and he didn't disagree. And he said that I wasn't understanding him either. It was a miscommunication that was really fucked up. For the simple fact of we were actually shouting or yelling at each other back and forth because he refused to back down, but so did I, because nah, not my style. It depends on the situation, but when I think that you're wrong, it's even worse when I know you're wrong, because I will fight and I will be Bucky. So that's how it was. Him and I were actually kind of in a shouting match of who, not necessarily who was right or wrong, but just back and forth. Neither one of us was going to give in because we thought the other one, was wrong. And so we ended up talking about it, and he did apologize. I didn't, because I felt like, and he understood where I was coming from. He understood why I didn't back down. He understood why I held my ground the way I did. So, so I got a tickle in my throat. Damn it. The thing is, I gotta learn how to. This program's stupid. It's got pause that you can pause before you hit play, but you can't hit pause while you're hitting play, or while it's recording, not play, recording. Anyway, blah. So him and I went back and forth, and I have bipolar, I have borderline personality disorder, I have PTSD, I have ADD, and I said to him, they don't play well together. They just don't. I said, and then, God damn it. And then I come here, and over the last 39 years, everybody wants to fix me. I said, did you ever think, I don't want to be fixed? I've been this way for so long. This is who I am. I'm so used to being this way. He's like, but if you're unhappy, we want to make you happy or help you be happy. And I said, I am happy. I said, and when I'm not, I deal with it. Sure, winter is miserable for me. I tell him I have depression on top of depression. No, you only have depression. No, I have depression from, bipolar, and then I have seasonal depression. And I know depression's depression, but he's like, why don't you want to get fixed? Oh, he didn't say fixed. He said, why don't you want to figure out your borderline personality? I said, because I don't understand it. I said, it's so complex because it crosses paths with the borderline crosses paths with the bipolar, with the PTSD. And I said, kind of everybody knows what PTSD is. And he goes, do you? I said, well, yeah, for the most part. He goes, well, what is it? I go, it's PTSD. I said, T. It's trauma. I said, that's all I need to know. I know why I have PTSD. I don't need that explained to me. So we got that out of the way, but it still interferes with everything else. And they just don't play good. And I said, the only way they play good together is if I have Xanax or, pills. I said, but I want to get off the pills. But he goes, you can't be this way and not be on the pills. The pills is what's keeping you from being, kind of, I don't really know exactly what he said, but it makes it so I can cope. And I said, I'm almost 53. I almost said 43. I don't want to go back. It's the pills are what are keeping me sort of happy. And then I said, I don't really know what borderline is. I said, I read about it, I study it, I teach it to others, but I myself don't understand it. Oh, man. You know, that's just it. It's been one of those days. It's 21 degrees. It feels like it's 0 or so. It's cold. So I don't like the cold. The cold hates me. It hurts because I have arthritis. And I'm just like, for the most part, I am happy. I said, I need to be able to cry. He said, why? I said, it's self-soothing. I said, I cry and it helps me with my anxiety. It helps me get the anxiety feeling better. And I said, I don't cry much during the summer because I can go outside and I can get the vitamin D that I need. And it's just better where in the winter, all of a sudden I talk like a hick. I am just really out of it right now. Just having a hard time. I said, but I need to be able to cry, to release that pent up anxiety that I get. And I said, I don't want that to be gone. And he goes, well, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to cry. And I said, but I feel like I'm crying for no reason. I just cry. And he goes, that's the borderline. It's where you feel empty. You feel like nothing. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And he has a whiteboard and he likes to write on it. And he wrote borderline and BP, borderline personality disorder. And he goes, now if you take away the borderline and you take away disorder, you just have personality. And I said, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with my personality. And then he got out his book and I said, is that your Bible of mental illnesses? I think I called it something like that. And he goes, no, it's what I just read to you. It's where he can refer to it to get the exact medical terms of things, medical terms. I'm like, oh, all right. And I'm like, what if I don't want to change? And I said, I'm scared. He goes, it's okay to be scared. What are you scared of? I said, well, being somebody else. He goes, well, asking me stuff, and I said, I'm empathetic, I'm compassionate. I don't want that to go away. I want to be that person that's there for people. And, I want to be that person that gives a shit when nobody else does. I'm sorry, like I told you. It's one of those days. I mean, I was sitting here dozing off in my chair with Echo tucked in my jacket. And I dozed off for like 2 seconds. And I kind of woke up and looked at the clock and it was like 6:30. And I thought it was 6:30 in the morning. I thought I had slept here all night because that's not unusual for me. Thank God it wasn't. But when I think about it, change? Why? Why? I say, what my problem is? Labels. I hate being labeled. I said, you can have somebody who's, in Hollywood, or somebody who's, high up there, and it's a big deal. If they're bipolar, oh my God, it's the end of the fucking world. And I said, oh, but if there's a little pissant like me, then it's no big deal. Nobody gives a shit. The thing is I'm okay. I feel, or maybe I say I'm okay. Because like I said, it's one of those things where I can tell people, I can help people, other people. But when it comes to looking in the mirror, I don't see it. I don't see that there's anything wrong with me. I'm sorry. It's just one of those days. Or, I've been trying to distract myself all day to keep from being like this. What is being like this? Depressed. I want to do stuff. So I thought I'll put Echo back in his cage, and I'll come up and I'll knock my video out, and it'll be great. I'll say, oh, I talked to my therapist and we worked everything out, and we did, and it ended up being a really good session, and I sit here and cry. And I don't even give a shit if you see me cry or anybody, because I'm human. I have feelings. I have emotions. I'm very emotional. And I'm okay with that. And that's just it. And he goes, if you don't want to change, then don't. We're not making you. But if you look up borderline and the symptoms, or whatever you want to call them, I have a lot of them. But does that mean I should change? I don't know. I'm really torn. Because after this many years, then I look like Rudolph and I have a red nose. You see, then I told him I cover up shit with humor. I said, you know how a dog takes a shit and they flick their feet and try to cover it up? I said, that's what I do. I said, I also chameleon. I'll go for some get together or some whatever, and I'll be pretty quiet, and I'll watch and see other people's behavior, and I'll see what they are doing, and then I'll mimic that. I will follow with what they're doing. It's what I do. It's how you fit in. Oh man, I am a hot mess. I shouldn't even post this, but if I don't, you aren't gonna know what a shitty day looks like, or a shitty person. I'm not a shitty person. What just a hard time looks like. It's not pretty. And that's why I stay up in my office, because then nobody can stare at me as I cry. You can stare at me. I don't care, because I don't know you are. So I'm okay with that. But, it's just one of those days where you just want to fall apart. Unfortunately, I did on camera. Does it bother me that I did? No. Because it's me. It's part of having a mental illness. Like I said, when you have a mental illness, you don't always know it. You don't see it. You look in the mirror and say, hey, you're bipolar. Hey, you're borderline. You got PTSD. And you know, that's what hurts the most, is knowing that there's something wrong with you. And then when you hear people say normal, what the fuck is normal really? I'd like to know. And I said, you know, a lot of people have this stuff that's wrong with them, but they don't get help because they're too ashamed. They're too embarrassed. They don't want to let their family know, so they hide it, and they hide behind it. And you know, he told me a story about a man and wife, and about, I still don't know what the point was, but something about the grandkids coming over and making a mess of the house, and I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. I just let him babble. Hey, I don't get paid to listen, but it was supposed to be a lesson, or I don't know, some story. I don't even know, because I don't even think I was present. And my cover's not on. That's my new cup. But you know, if my if my bipolar was in full swing, which right now I would be glad. I have a gift card for Walmart for $65, and I scoured the Walmart website, and I couldn't find anything that I wanted. It's not like me. And then my therapist, he gives me this. You won't be able to read it, but I'll tell you about it. I was called homework. Oh, you might be able to read it. I don't even know what it says. It says, are your emotions too difficult to handle? Oh yeah, like I should be looking at this now. But it's about National Education Alliance for Borderline Personality Disorder. And I'll tell you this website just in case you want to go look. I'm not gonna, but it's www.borderlinepersonalitydisorder.org. It's the National Education Alliance for Borderline Personality Disorder, and it's just two sides. And he wants me to look it over, read it over, and he's like, highlight or circle or underline or whatever any part of it you don't understand. And I said, so I might as well just take it home, put it in my copy machine, and bring it back. Son of a bitch. I know you don't miss the recording when that happens, but it goes dim, and it just fucking irritates me. And right now I'm irritated. But yeah, I said I might as well just take it home and copy it and bring it back. I said I don't understand any of it, and he can read it. And I said, you can read it, I can hear it, I can read it. I still don't understand. And he'll go and he'll read all the issues because of the fact that it crosses over with bipolar, and the bipolar wins because that I understand. Where this is something I could tell him, I don't want it. I said, and there's remission. How the fuck do you do that? You know? He goes, you'll learn how to control it. And I'm like, yeah, that's like teaching a 3-year-old, you know. and I gave him some excuse or whatever. But no, I just wanted to do my video early because I thought it would be easier, and maybe if I took a Xanax I would have had an easier time later. But and I was gonna go make some dinner, and I don't feel like it because I like sweet potatoes and he doesn't, and I was gonna add sweet potatoes. And it doesn't mean he's got to eat them, but I want him to eat them because it's like making a kid eat broccoli, and he doesn't like eating that either. He's such a wuss. But I shouldn't say that, but you know, we have a good relationship, and my fiance and I tell him that I'm like, I'm happy, or I'm in a good relationship, because part of borderline has to do with you having problems with relationships. I said my relationship's fine. Okay, so my friendships aren't. I really don't have any because I don't know how. I used to have tons of friends, and it's like I've just kind of taken a slope down to the bottom. And I have cappuccino again, so that might mean that I'm going to be up late. I might even do... This is a brand new cup that David bought me, and because the cover wasn't on, I kind of have OCD. See, now the cover's on and I feel better, and I'll be taking it off pretty soon because I'm going to be getting probably cappuccino, or I'm going to make coffee and have iced coffee, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just I'm just a cluster. I'm a mess. And the funny part is I don't care. You don't care. I don't know about everybody else, but who gives a shit? You are what you are, and that's just it. I told him I've been doing this for so long. I've become accustomed to being who I am. Why do I want to change that now? And he's like, well, don't you want to be happy? I said, I am happy, mostly. I still have bipolar. I still have PTSD. I still have other issues that, yeah, I'm not going to be happy all the time. And now I am sitting here, I just realized, just babbling away. But again, I want you to see or witness. I want you to be my witness. No, I wanted you to see what it's like when somebody with borderline and with the things that I have, when they're feeling their worst. I can't say this is my worst, but it's pretty rock bottom. It's pretty low. It's pretty hardcore. Because part of borderline is where you feel empty and you don't feel yourself and you don't feel anything. Am I feeling like that? No, I'm feeling the depressed part of it. And I could take some pills for that, but I don't want to. I don't like taking pills. I hate pills. But he said in order to get the pills to make you feel better, you have to have a diagnosis in order to get those pills. And I'm just like, oh, God, why does it have to be so difficult? Just give me the damn pills and nobody will get hurt. But see what I mean? How that's the borderline right there, is where I go from crying, and then I work my way up to a little better, to making jokes, to being funny. And the thing is, I've been doing it for so long that I don't even realize I do it. This was like one of the first times that I realized I did it. But it's not fun. It's like when your emotions, like bipolar, your emotions, that's too, where it's a roller coaster, where you're happy, you're sad, you're happy, you're sad. It's just the difference between borderline and bipolar are the durations. One, I don't remember which, don't quiz me. One can last a week, one can last months. Now's the time to ask for a puppy. I told my therapist that, you know. So, and I'm back down again. It's hell. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry, that you had to see this. But it's the first time that I've captured it on film. Now I'm a fucking star. But in reality, for real, I think it's good for some of you to maybe see what you're feeling through somebody else. And I'm sorry that you had to see that. I'm sorry that you had to see that. I'm not sorry that I have to go through it. I mean, it sucks, but it's the way it is. And it's the way I am. And at my age, do I really want to change? And he says, don't you want to be happy? For the most part, I am. Leave me alone. I'll deal with it. That's part of it, is I'll deal with it on my own. I'm used to it. This isn't my first rodeo. This isn't my first year. This isn't my, I'm the one who deserves the plaque. I'm the one who deserves the like the saying goes, the gold star and a chest to pin it on. But I think I should end here. I think you've gotten your fill. Have a good night.